Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 30th episode of Tuesdays with Tobe. My name is Tobe Frierson, and I am thrilled to be back before you again today with another message as we're actually going to talk about the best way to heal. Before we get into that, I want to be sure you all had an opportunity to watch last week's message that I did on R and R and R. That stands for relationships, respect, and reputation. And honestly, I was pretty much trying to drive home the point that not only do we need good and positive relationships in our lives, but we need to know how to sustain them. I also wanted you all to understand how to give respect, but also how to demand respect. And essentially, I wanted you all to be encouraged by the fact that it's okay to assume good intentions in people. We don't have to always be so quick to shy away from a disagreement or not understand that we can be respectful and not agree at the same time. And so that's the part I was talking about in regards to being respectful. And then lastly, your reputations. I talked about the fact that this one is the scariest of the R's because this is the one that we have no control over. When it comes to our reputation, our brand is what other people say about us. It actually has nothing to do with how we feel about ourselves, what we say about ourselves, and what we even think about ourselves. So again, that was last week's message, R and R and R. And I'd really like for you guys to hop back 1 week and check it out. To drive this point further a little bit more, I actually had an encounter last Friday when R and R and R was on full display in my office. I'd love to tell you about it really quickly. So the admin in our office, she's the kind of person who goes out of her way to make sure that everyone is taken care of. Not just our campus tour guests. So remember, I'm in admissions, so we have campus visitors every day. So not just them, but also our faculty, staff, and especially our student workers, because they work close with her and they work alongside her. So this past Friday, I actually was going to our welcome center where our admin works to give her something. And before I could get to the welcome center, I saw our admin, her name's Donna. Donna was sitting in the welcome center with one of our student workers and with that student worker's mom. And I was like, Donna's got a bouquet of flowers. She's sitting out here in the lobby chatting with them. What's this all about? Well, come to find out, by the time I walked up on this whole exchange, I introduced myself to mom, I spoke to our student, and the mom was raving about Donna. Mind you, she'd never met Donna before. She'd only heard stories from her daughter about who Donna is, how much Donna has done for her, and how much she does for others. And this mom was so moved that when she visited her daughter, and this is one of our out-of-state students, so when this woman came from out of state to visit her daughter this summer, she made sure she stopped by the office, she made sure she met Donna, and she made sure to bring her a bouquet of flowers as a way to say thank you. So when I'm telling you guys about our relationships, our respect, and our reputation, clearly something Donna is doing for her daughter or something her daughter is seeing Donna do for all the rest of us spoke to this parent so much so that Donna got flowers on Friday. So again, go back 1 week, check out this message for me. Before we go any further, please look behind me and let's say our family rules together. During Tuesdays with Tobe, we will use kind words, do your best, always be honest, forgive and forget, be happy, count your blessings, laugh at yourself, stay positive, and love one another. For the next 2 episodes, we're going to be focusing on healing. And it's really my goal to convince you today that there is a best way to heal. And in order for you to get the most out of this little short talk, I want to start with some prompts to get you to think about yourself, your own situations, or a trusted friend who has shared some type of hurt or trauma with you. Be thinking about their situations as well. I want all of us to try to bring our guards down a little bit and embrace this subject matter, because we can start here and agree that everyone is in a constant state of needing to be healed. We all need to be healed from something. Whether we realize it or not, we're broken to some extent. Some of our brokenness is really sneaky, it's hard to detect, and others of us are literally bleeding out right in front of our family and friends, and we don't even know what to do. So today, we've got to start with a baseline that none of us are exempt from injury. We are all injured. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that some of our injuries are happening to us every single day. And they're playing out in things that we consume. Those kinds of things can injure us. Maybe unpleasant or unexpected situations. Those can certainly injure us. How about losing a loved one? That being grief stricken, that can injure us. Illness and disease, clearly that can cause injury. The media and social media, things we consume daily, that can injure us. Our families, unfortunately, at times can injure us. And then lastly, our personal unhealed trauma and situations, those can injure us. So back to that statement I made a few seconds ago, all of us are in a constant state of needing to be healed because some of these things I just named are happening to us on a daily basis, and we may or may not know how they're affecting us. So let's start. What do our bodies do when our bodies are naturally in a healing process? And in order for me to take you down this little road, I want to go back to being an 8 or 10-year-old. So you pick your age where this illustration fits for you. But for me, that's going to be right around the age where the training wheels were off my bike. Not only was I riding a bike pretty proficiently at 8 and 10, but I was also popping wheelies, riding with no hands. We had a hill at the house, so I was going down our hill and then going up the hill of the neighbor's yard. Mom didn't like when we did that, and that's really disrespectful. But we did that. But basically, I was doing all the things I could possibly do on my bike as an 8 or 10-year-old. I thought I was hot stuff. I really did. Until I fell. Until that day that I fell in the road on the concrete and I busted my knee. And when I fell and busted my knee, do you know what happened to my knee? You do know what happened because you all have fallen and busted your knee before as well. There was blood, there was pus, there was a scab, and there was a scar. And if you were fortunate enough, after you got that scar, your mom had some cocoa butter or either some vitamin E, and she showed you the magic of continuing to rub that scar down with that ointment, and then eventually you had smooth skin again. So that's the way that my body healed. I was 100% healed after that because if you looked at that skin, you never knew anything was even there. That's what happened when I fell off the bike and busted my knee. That was the process. So I would say that's a true and a legitimate process of healing because that didn't just happen to my body. That happened to your body as well. Notice though, there were steps and stages to the healing process. We didn't just fall off of our bikes, bust our knees, put a Band-Aid on it so no one could see that we were injured and then hop back on the bike. It's not how that happened. We had to clean up the blood, treat the pus. We had to wait for it to scab. And then we had to let the scab turn into that scar. And then again, if you were picky about blemishes, you treated that blemish. And then all of a sudden that scar faded away and that skin was smooth. The healing of this knee sounds like a process, doesn't it? It's because healing is a process. It's indeed a process. And a lot of us have skipped far too many steps on our healing process. Or we're not even acknowledging that we're injured. I want you to give this some serious thought this week as you try to apply those stages of healing that I just went over with the knee illustration. You know, the blood, the pus, the scab, the scars, and the smooth skin. I want you to apply those to other areas of your life. But don't dig too deep because I need you to join me back here next week and we're going to dig deep together. We're going to examine some of our emotional injuries. We're going to see if we can apply some healing principles to them and then try to figure out the best way to heal. I want you guys to give this a lot of thought this week. Again, don't go too deep, but join me next week as we talk about the best way to heal, part 2. Please like, share, and subscribe. And in the comment section below, y'all tell me about your bicycle trips when you were kids and the first time you stopped and scuffed your knee. Tell me if your body did not do exactly what I described. And then I can't wait to talk about our emotional health next week.